My wife declared, "I'm changing my last name back. Yours sounds ridiculous." I said, "That's your choice." Then I removed her from all the accounts that had my ridiculous name on them. Her bank's confusion when she had no access to anything. Original post: I, 44 male, have been married to Victoria, 41, for 12 years. My last name is Wojciechowski. Yeah, Polish. Long, lots of consonants. I get it. For 12 years, she's been Victoria Wojciechowski. Complained about it occasionally at DMV offices or when making reservations, but nothing serious. Until 3 months ago. We were at her company's annual gala. Her new boss, some startup wonderboy named Bradley, made a joke about her name. Wojciechowski? That's a mouthful. Bet you can't wait to go back to something pronounceable if things don't work out. Everyone laughed. Victoria laughed the loudest. That night in the car, she was quiet. Then, "Bradley has a point." "About what?" "Your name. It's embarrassing. Nobody can pronounce it. I'm tired of spelling it 17 times whenever I call anywhere." "It's been 12 years, Vic." "Exactly. 12 years of this ridiculous name. I'm changing it back to Morrison." I shrugged. "That's your choice." She seemed surprised I didn't fight her. "You're okay with this? You're an adult. If you don't want my name, don't have it." She started the paperwork the next week. Posted about it on social media like it was some empowerment thing. Reclaiming my identity, and a name should reflect who you are. Her friends were all supportive. "You go, girl. About time. Morrison is so much classier." The legal name change went through last month. She threw a party, an actual party, for changing her name. Had a cake that said Victoria Morrison, free at last. I attended, ate the cake. It was good cake. What Victoria didn't consider in her rush to dump my ridiculous name was where else that name appeared. See, 12 years ago, when we got married, we consolidated everything. All our utilities, mortgage, insurance policies, credit cards, bank accounts, everything had both our names, Mr. and Mrs. Wojciechowski, on every single account. But here's the thing. I'm the primary on most of them. She was added as an authorized user or secondary account holder. When she legally changed her name, she created a massive identity verification issue. So I helped her out by removing Victoria Wojciechowski from all the accounts because that person doesn't exist anymore. Victoria Morrison? Never heard of her. Started with the credit cards. Called each company. "I need to remove an authorized user. Victoria Wojciechowski." "No, she doesn't exist anymore." The person using that card is now someone named Victoria Morrison, which isn't on my account. Removed from 6 credit cards. Her daily Starbucks card, the airline miles card, the cashback card, the Amazon Prime card, both department store cards. Bank accounts were next. We had 3 checking and 2 savings. I'm primary on 4 of them. Same conversation. Need to remove Victoria Wojciechowski. She legally doesn't exist. The bank manager actually said, but she could just update her name on the account. That would require her being on the account first. Victoria Morrison was never on my accounts. Victoria Wojciechowski was, but she doesn't exist. Sir, this seems petty. It's legal. She legally changed her name. These accounts are for Mr. and Mrs. Wojciechowski. She's not Mrs. Wojciechowski anymore. Streaming services, Netflix, Hulu, Disney+, HBO Max. Changed all the passwords. Victoria Wojciechowski had access. Victoria Morrison doesn't. Costco membership, gym membership, even our AAA roadside assistance, all under the Wojciechowski family plan. Victoria Morrison isn't family, according to the paperwork. The mortgage and utilities I left alone, that would actually harm me, but everything else? Click, 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 removed. Took about a week to process everything. Victoria didn't notice at first. Why would she? The cards still worked for a few days while the changes processed. Then Friday happened. Update 1, the meltdown. I was at work when the first text came through. "Victoria, my card was declined at Starbucks. WTF? Me, which card?" "The green one." Me, "That's Victoria Wojciechowski's card. You're Victoria Morrison." 5 minutes of silence. Then my phone exploded. "What did you do?" "This is financial abuse. You can't do this." "I'm your wife." I responded once. "You were Mrs. Wojciechowski. You chose not to be." I updated the accounts accordingly. She called 17 times. I didn't answer. I was in a meeting about Q3 projections. When I got home that evening, she was at the dining table with her laptop, surrounded by papers, on the phone with what sounded like a credit card company. No, I was Victoria Wojciechowski. Now I'm Victoria Morrison. It's the same person. What do you mean I need to reapply? She hung up and glared at me. Fix this now. Fix what? You wanted to be Victoria Morrison. You are. Congratulations. You removed me from everything. I removed Victoria Wojciechowski. She doesn't exist, remember? You killed her at your party. Nice cake, by the way. She stood up, shaking. This is about your ego. You're punishing me for not keeping your stupid name. No, this is about paperwork. Every account we have is for Mr. and Mrs. Wojciechowski. You're not Mrs. Wojciechowski. You made that very clear. It's just a name. Exactly. Just a name. My ridiculous name that you didn't want. She threw a credit card statement at me. It bounced off my chest harmlessly. I can't access our savings. My savings. Victoria Wojciechowski had access to our savings. You're not her. I'm the same person. Not legally. You filed the paperwork yourself. She called her sister Natalie. On speaker. Big mistake. What's wrong, Vic? Victoria. Stan removed me from all our accounts because I changed my name back. Wait, back to Morrison? I thought that was empowering or whatever? It is empowering, but now I can't access anything. So, you wanted to not have his name but still have access to accounts in his name? Victoria, it's our money. In accounts under whose name? Stan's, but, laughing. Girl, you played yourself. Victoria hung up on her. That night, she slept in the guest room. I could hear her on the phone with various financial institutions until 2 a.m. Each conversation ended the same way. But I'm the same person. Legally, though, she's not. Update 2. The escalation Monday morning, Victoria had a plan. She'd spoken to a lawyer, her cousin Anthony, who mostly does real estate law but knows things. She cornered me at breakfast, holding printed papers like weapons. Anthony says what you're doing is illegal. It's marital assets. You can't lock me out. I sipped my coffee. I'm not locking anyone out. Victoria Morrison was never on these accounts. If she wants to be added, she can apply. Apply? I'm your wife. My wife was Victoria Wojciechowski. You legally declared you're not her anymore. A name change doesn't end a marriage. No, but it does create paperwork issues, which you would have known if you'd thought this through. She slammed the papers down. Anthony is filing an emergency motion. For what? To force me to add someone named Victoria Morrison to my accounts. She's never been on them. This is financial abuse. This is paperwork. She stormed out. 20 minutes later, I got a call from Anthony. Stan, buddy, what you're doing isn't cool. Adding authorized users to my accounts is my choice, Anthony. She's your wife. Victoria Morrison is my wife. Victoria Wojciechowski was the authorized user. Two different people legally. You know that's bullshit, is it? She filed legal documents stating she is no longer Victoria Wojciechowski. I'm simply acknowledging her legal choice. He sighed. This won't hold up in court. What won't? My right to control my own accounts? She can open her own accounts as Victoria Morrison. She has a job. She can't get approved. Her credit was tied to yours. Victoria Wojciechowski's credit was. Victoria Morrison has no credit history with me. Click. He hung up. That afternoon, the real entertainment started. Victoria tried to pay for groceries with my Amazon Prime card. Declined. She had to put back half the cart. The teenage cashier looked mortified. Victoria less so. She was furious. She called me from the parking lot. I could hear her crying angry tears. I had to put back groceries. People saw. Did you try using Victoria Morrison's credit cards? I don't have any. Then perhaps you should apply for some. With what credit? Everything is tied to being a Wojciechowski. Was that name really so ridiculous then? She screamed and hung up. But the real kicker came Tuesday. She'd been bragging on social media about her name change for weeks. All her friends congratulating her on dumping that unpronounceable burden. Well, one of those friends, Margaret, works at our bank. She saw Victoria come in trying to access the accounts. Margaret posted, before deleting it an hour later. Awkward moment when someone celebrates ditching their husband's ridiculous name, then comes crying to the bank because they can't access the accounts in that name. It had 47 reactions before deletion. Screenshots were already circulating in our social circle. Victoria's empowerment narrative was crumbling. Wednesday, she tried a different approach. She came home with flowers. For me. First time in 3 years. Stan, honey, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you with the name thing. You didn't hurt me. You made a choice. But you're punishing me. I'm acknowledging your choice. You didn't want to be Mrs. Wachikowski, so you're not. Can you just add Victoria Morrison to the accounts? Sure. Fill out the applications. If you qualify, I'll add you. If I qualify? New users need to qualify. You know this. She threw the flowers in the trash. That night, I heard her on the phone with her mother, Eleanor. Eleanor's voice was loud enough to hear through the door. You did what? You gave up his name but expected to keep his accounts? Are you stupid? Mom, it's 2024. Women don't need to take their husbands' names. No, but if you're on accounts with that name, maybe think twice. This is why I told you not to marry him if you hated the name so much. You said it was a terrible name. It is, but you took it. For 12 years. What did you think would happen? Victoria hung up on her too. Update 3. The reinforcements. Thursday brought the intervention. Victoria had rallied her troops. I came home to find her brother Miguel, her best friend Janet, and Bradley, yes, the boss who started this whole thing, sitting in my living room. Stan, Bradley started, manspreading on my couch. We need to talk about financial abuse. I set down my work bag. Are you a marriage counselor now, Bradley? I'm concerned about Victoria's well-being. The well-being of Victoria Morrison or the non-existent Victoria Wojciechowski? Janet jumped in. You're being childish. It's just a name. Exactly what Victoria said, just a name. So ridiculous she had to change it. Miguel tried the tough guy approach. You need to fix this, man. She's family. She's Victoria Morrison. That's not my family name. Bradley stood up, clearly trying to intimidate me. Kids may be 5'8" and weighs as much as my left leg. This is abusive behavior. I won't stand for it. Then sit down, in your own house. Victoria deserves better. Victoria Morrison deserves exactly what Victoria Morrison has earned, which, without the Wojciechowski credit history, isn't much. Victoria started crying. Real tears this time, not the angry ones. I just wanted my own name back. You have it, congratulations. But I'm broke. You have a job. That barely covers my car payment. Sounds like Victoria Morrison needs a budget. Bradley stepped forward. If you don't fix this, she could leave you. I laughed. Actually laughed. With what money? Victoria Morrison has no credit cards, no access to savings, and her boss is in my living room, threatening her husband instead of giving her a raise. That landed. Bradley's face went red. Janet tried one more time. Don't you love her? I loved Victoria Wojciechowski. She threw a party celebrating that person's death. They left after that. Victoria stayed in the guest room again. Friday morning, 6 a.m., she was on her laptop applying for credit cards, getting denied in real time. Insufficient credit history, unable to verify income. Previous accounts not found. Each rejection email made her type harder. This is your fault. This is Victoria Morrison's fault. Victoria Wojciechowski had excellent credit. She threw her coffee mug at me, missed, hit the wall. I later charged the repair to the one credit card she forgot existed, an old Target card in her maiden name she'd kept for emergencies. The $47.83 for wall putty and paint maxed it out. Saturday was the farmer's market incident. Victoria loved the farmer's market. Always paid with our rewards card for the 5% cash back on groceries. She came home humiliated. Her card was declined buying organic honey. The vendor, sweet old Mrs. Patterson, had said, "Oh dear, Mrs. Wojciechowski, let me run it again." "It's Morrison now," Victoria had corrected. "Oh, congratulations on the divorce, dear." "I'm not divorced." "Oh, then why?" Yeah, even Mrs. Patterson figured out the stupidity. At our Update 4, the legal battle Monday, 2 weeks after the name change, Victoria went full nuclear. She'd hired a real lawyer, not cousin Anthony, someone named Denise Hartley who specialized in financial abuse in marriages. I was served papers at work. My coworker Jerome saw the whole thing. "Damn Stan, divorce?" "Nope. Wife's suing me for access to my bank accounts." "Your wife is suing you?" "Well, Victoria Morrison is suing me. I was married to Victoria Wojciechowski." That's the same person. Not according to her legal filing. The papers demanded immediate restoration of access to all marital assets, $50,000 in damages for emotional and financial distress, and monthly spousal support until financial equality is restored. I hired my own lawyer. Thomas Kim, recommended by my divorced buddy Howard. Thomas reviewed everything and laughed. Actually laughed. "She legally changed her name. You removed that non-existent person from your accounts, and now she wants damages?" "Yep. This is beautiful. Stupid, but beautiful. The first hearing was Wednesday. Family court. Judge Brennan, older woman, no-nonsense type. Denise started strong. My client has been financially abused by her husband, who weaponized a simple name change to control and isolate her. She changed her name? Back to her maiden name. Yes. Why? Victoria stood up. His name was ridiculous. Nobody could pronounce it. Wojciechowski? My maiden name was Krzyzanowski. What's your point? Victoria sat down. Thomas presented my side. My client simply updated his accounts to reflect legal reality. Victoria Wojciechowski, who was authorized on these accounts, no longer exists. Victoria Morrison was never on these accounts. This is semantics. Thomas, this is legal documentation, Your Honor. The judge reviewed the account histories, the name change petition, Victoria's social media posts about killing her slave name. Yeah, she actually posted that. And the party photos. Mrs. Morrison, is it? You threw a party celebrating getting rid of your married name? It was empowering. Was being on your husband's financial accounts also empowering? Silence. Mr. Wojciechowski, this is clearly retaliatory. Your Honor, I simply respected her legal decision. By removing her from all financial accounts, me. By removing a person who no longer legally exists, the judge rubbed her temples. Here's what's going to happen. Mrs. Morrison, you have 30 days to apply for access to these accounts under your legal name. Mr. Wojciechowski, you will not unreasonably deny these applications. Your Honor, she can't qualify without credit history. Then perhaps she should have considered that before legally eliminating the person who had that credit history. This is sexist. This is consequences. We left court with nothing resolved. Victoria had won the right to apply for things like any random person would. But the best part? The court reporter's name was Mrs. Kowalczewski. She gave me a fist bump on the way out. Update 5, the revelation Thursday night after court. Victoria's dad called me. Richard Morrison, the man whose name she was so proud to reclaim. Stan, what the hell is happening? Your daughter wanted her name back. I gave it to her. By cutting her off? By removing Victoria Wojciechowski from accounts. Your daughter, Victoria Morrison, was never on them. He sighed. Long, heavy. You know what? Good. What? I said good. She's been spoiled her whole life. Eleanor and I, we gave her everything, never let her fail, never let her struggle. Even when she married you, we knew she was being a brat about the name. You did? Stan, I'm Irish. Morrison is boring as hell compared to Wojciechowski. Your name has history. My grandfather would have killed to have a name that meant something. Then why didn't you say anything? Have you met my daughter? Or my wife? I pick my battles. He paused. Look, she needs this lesson. But don't destroy my daughter, okay? I'm not destroying anyone. Victoria Morrison is destroying herself. Same thing right now. Friday brought the applications. Victoria, armed with printed forms, sat at the kitchen table filling out credit applications, bank account applications, authorized user requests, each one requiring explanation for previous names, each one asking for employment history, each one wanting references. They want references to add me to my own accounts. They're not your accounts, they're mine. You're applying to be added. After 12 years. Victoria Wojciechowski was on them for 12 years. You're Victoria Morrison. You've existed for 3 weeks. She started crying over the visa application. Not angry tears, defeated tears. I didn't think. No, you didn't. Bradley said it was empowering. Bradley's not married to someone with a Polish name. I just wanted to feel like myself again. Who's that? Because Victoria Wojciechowski owned a house, had excellent credit, and shared a life with her husband. Victoria Morrison lives in the guest room and can't buy coffee. She looked up at me. Do you hate me? No, I'm disappointed. You threw away 12 years because some startup bro made fun of our name. Your name. It was ours. For 12 years it was ours. Saturday, the rejections started coming in. Application pending further review. Additional documentation required. Unable to process at this time. Victoria Morrison was nobody to the financial world. A ghost. A blank slate with no history, no credibility, no proof of existence beyond 3 weeks. She tried to use our Costco membership. The card said Wojciechowski. Her ID said Morrison. I'm sorry, ma'am, the names don't match. It's me, the same person. Not according to this. Security was almost called before she left crying. Final update, the resolution. It's been 3 months now since Victoria's empowering name change. Here's where we ended up. After 6 weeks of applications, Victoria Morrison was approved for exactly 1 credit card. Secured, $500 limit, required a $500 deposit, which she had to borrow from her mother because Victoria Morrison had no savings access. The bank finally agreed to add her to 1 checking account as a new user with a 90-day probationary period. No checks, no overdraft protection. ATM limit of $200 per day. She moved back into our bedroom after 2 months in the guest room. Not because we reconciled, but because the guest room air conditioning broke and I refused to fix it until Victoria Morrison contributes to household repairs. She had to sell her designer bags to pay for car insurance when the policy renewed. Turns out, Victoria Wojciechowski had a multi-policy discount. Victoria Morrison did not. Her boss, Bradley, fired for inappropriate involvement in employee personal matters. Apparently, showing up at an employee's husband's house for an intervention violated several HR policies. Victoria's new boss doesn't care about her last name, also doesn't care about her in general. The social media celebration posts were quietly deleted. Her friends stopped bringing it up after Margaret's post went viral in our social circle. Empowerment became employment, as in, Victoria picked up extra shifts because Victoria Morrison needed money. Last week was our 13th anniversary. I made dinner, nothing fancy, spaghetti with jar sauce because Victoria Morrison couldn't afford to split the groceries for anything better. She gave me a card. It was signed Victoria Wojciechowski Morrison. That's not your legal name. I know, but maybe it could be. You want to change it again? I want to hyphenate. Keep Morrison but add back. My ridiculous name? She nodded. It wasn't that ridiculous. Polish names are actually kind of distinguished. Bradley was just jealous. Bradley's unemployed now. I know. It costs $400 to change your name again. I know. Victoria Morrison doesn't have $400. I know. I let her twist for a minute. He then pulled out an envelope. Victoria Wojciechowski had excellent credit. She was responsible. She was my partner. If she wants to come back, even hyphenated, that's worth $400. She cried. Again. But different tears this time. She filed the paperwork yesterday. Victoria Wojciechowski Morrison will exist in 6 to 8 weeks. I've already started the paperwork to add her to the accounts, under her new old name. With conditions, she maintains the hyphenated name for minimum 5 years. She contributes 30% of her salary to joint accounts. She attends financial literacy classes. Yes, they exist. She never, ever lets someone named Bradley influence major life decisions. She agreed to everything. Her mother Eleanor called it the most expensive identity crisis in history. Her father Richard said, I taught her a lesson she needed to learn at 18, not 41. Her sister Natalie still laughs about it. Has RIP Victoria Morrison 2024-2024 in her Instagram bio. The whole thing cost us about $15,000 in legal fees, lost rewards points, and therapy. Yes, we're in therapy now. Victoria learned that a name isn't just letters on paper. It's credit history, it's legal standing, it's financial identity, it's partnership. She also learned that Victoria Morrison was nobody. Victoria Wojciechowski, despite the spelling challenges, was somebody. Somebody with credit, somebody with access, somebody with a husband who'd share everything with her. We're not divorced. We're not even separated, technically. We're just 2 people who learned that when someone shows you who they are or who they don't want to be, believe them and update the paperwork accordingly. The Costco card came in the mail today. Victoria Wojciechowski Morrison. She can spell it for people now without complaining. Amazing what poverty does for perspective. To everyone saying I went too far, she literally threw a party celebrating the death of her married identity. I just handled the funeral arrangements. To everyone saying she deserved it, yeah, probably. But marriage is about growing together. Even if that growth comes from absolutely stupid decisions. Final thought. If your spouse wants to change their name, cool. But maybe check what else has that name on it first. Just saying. P.S. Bradley reached out last week looking for a reference. I told him I only knew Victoria Wojciechowski, who was an excellent employee's wife. Victoria Morrison's husband. Never met him. He hung up.